one, having a uniform way of handling things, a uniform way of branding our schools, a uniform way of, even when the team comes together, you find there is nothing that can divide the team, because all of them and even the programs that they are doing are the same. My fellow colleagues have just talked about the academic, and when we talk about academic, you find that when you go across all our schools, we want to get everything that is being provided in one school. When you go to another school, you may not be able to identify that this is another school because you are here. Let me just give an example of a child moving from this school and going to a school in Nairobi. You find that one thing that we have really done is to make sure that we have one uniform across our school. And that one brings us our outlook to be the same. Because you cannot travel from this school, go to another school, and then you become yourself being odd one out. That one is part of the things that we are doing. Our programs on how we are doing it. When we talk about outreach, you find there is that outreach program is going across our schools. So there is no any teacher, even when we are saying, we can say that a teacher will be moving from this school and going to another school, there won't be that struggle, because what they used to do in this school, it is again happening in that school, and the environment will be accommodated, because all of them, they are sharing equal goal, equal outlook, and even on how they are addressing their issues, the culture. And this is what we are focusing on, to grow a strong culture that will show IBTG schools where they are. You don't need to ask, because of the culture. People will just identify us with the culture. When they move to this school, they see on the programs and how we are carrying out our things. And when we are talking about the culture, there are a lot of things that are doing. Right now, as I speak, you find we have a program that is going on of Keep Fit. Every one of us here knows very well on how we are supposed to do when it reaches on Friday. And this one does not make our work to be difficult. Let us talk about our feeding program. When you move from this school on Monday, and know that on Monday we are eating githeri. When you go to Fry, you will find githeri. When you go to Nairobi, you will find githeri. If it is on Wednesday, it is ugali. When you move from this school on Friday, when you go to Fry, you will find ugali. When you go to Nairobi, you will find ugali. So that's how we want our culture to be. We want our outlook to be. We want each and every things that we are doing are the same. Thank you.
Thank you, Bwana Coordinator, come Chairman. You have already explored, and I tend to concur with the one who said one can talk for many. One can talk for many. One amongst them can talk for many. That is very. You have talked about the outlook on the school uniform. That is very good. And stand out clearly. I went to Soweto. I say school a uniform that looks like ours, and I knew those are our people. That is very good. Then that makes us look alike. Keep Fit, the chairman has talked about keep Fit, and that one on every Friday, isn't it? Yes. Every Friday, everybody is out on Keep Fit. That makes us be common, or have one culture. That is very good. And he has also mentioned about meals. The timetable that is appearing at Ivtgf, that is Ivtgf, go to Vix, go to Lucia, the meals timetable is the same. Okay, that's good. That makes us to be common. Now, I've heard, this one goes direct to Madam Ruth. Somebody praised you because of the language policy in your institution. Can you give us the tips on how you are doing it? Because somebody enters your compound and we just get English throughout. Even you are dying the Kiswahili gentleman, that there is no Kiswahili day. Now, can you tell us on what you are doing? And then this one will also share. Tell us how far they have gone. Why aren't they succeeding?
Okay, thank you. On language policy, this is a duty to everybody in the compound, from the kids themselves to the non-teaching staff. So a child is he or she is responsible for a fellow. If somebody is speaking Kiswahili, you are responsible for that. So if you were with that person and that person was speaking Kiswahili, where were you and which language were you speaking? So if I'm addressing Madam Jennifer in Kiswahili, she will not answer me unless she speaks me, she asked me to request something from me in English is when I will answer. Then when it is in class, the governors and senators, they are in charge. Those who communicate, because you might find that friends are collaborating and now I ask you, I will communicate in Kiswahili and you answer me in Kiswahili. The governor and the senator are in charge. They have to note down the names of those who are speaking in Kiswahili or communicating in Kiswahili. And then they'll take those names to the teacher on duty. Mostly we deal with the teachers on duty sometimes, but at the class level, when the class teacher is also there, they can report to the class teacher. But mostly we do it on parade in the evening. So we call those who spoke Kiswahili inside the parade, and we ask one who was very down. We also accept that broken one to encourage the broken English. So we bring one who was really down, and now he or she's trying. We bring him on board. Please tell them the importance of you speaking English instead of Kiswahili. So this one will be like, I've benefited because now I don't fear going to the staff room. I don't fear borrowing. Even when I want water, I can go to the kitchen and borrow. Because if you don't speak English, you'll not be served. You'll not meet what you want. So that one will help. And if you keep quiet, it means you'll go hungry. You'll not meet what you want. So that one at least pulls them from where they are and bring them on board. And if somebody says that, if somebody who was lower, even you find that somebody is a bright child, but he has that thing of, how can I start? How can I communicate? I don't know if I'm speaking the correct thing. Will be like, this person, because even he can identify that this language that you are using, Mr. Richard, is not the correct one. And I'm able to construct this sentence correctly. Then next time when he or she tries that sentence, it comes out like, nobody laughed. I was only rectified, because they do rectify themselves and they accept that correction. So that one has really, really helped them to grow from where they were to the level of even the baby class, even if sometimes they may not be like, they cannot communicate it, but they can understand what is being said. And with the time, they also pick one word, two words like that, and you join them with what they want. At the end of the day, they learn from each other.
That's good, madam. Very happy about that. And the thing that touched me very much, even the teachers who communicate in English.
Yes.
You know, in some forum, you find people are being forced to communicate, while the teachers, we dump ourselves in the mother tongue. So that's a good move that you are making. You know, we learn to speak by speaking. And speaking is the first learning skill. I mean, speaking is the second one after listening. So we listen and then we speak. The four skills in English. That's very good of you. Now, Madam Jennifer, what input do you have in your institution?
Okay, thank you very much. To me, I think what is there for us, for our kids to speak in English, is the measures that we are putting in is to work very closely with the class teachers, just the same as teachers say, and then the teacher on duty. we follow up? Because we can just talk about class teacher and the teacher on duty, but they are not following up. That to mean, after this, making this policy, we are following up. And that is our first priority come 2022. And that's what we are going to work with to make sure that everybody and every learner, even that baby class child, will speak in English. And the introduction of the disc to monitor the language.
So you are in the process
Yes.
of achieving that goal.
Yeah.
So your university does not pick 100%.
It is not 100%.
It is at 20%.
It is now. It is at 70%.
That's wonderful. Madam Winkista, bearing in mind that you come from a slum area where Sheng is the order of the day, Sheng Kiswahili, Sheng English is the order of the day. What are you trying to make sure that they speak the Queen's language comfortably?
Okay, thank you. With me also, note that I don't have challenges here in terms of language, because as you come to my school, the largest number of the population are Congo, the foreigners. So when they came in, they never knew about English. Most of them, they were speaking French. So when they came in and see that here we are supposed to speak English, it was very tough. They decided, let us now continue with our Kikongo. But I want to thank my fellow teachers, because as for now, I'm at 100%. When you come to my school, even a baby class can communicate to you in English. How I started it, I just started with my staff. I called them a meeting. I said, from today, when you come to inside this gate, no speaking Kiswahili, no speaking mother tongue. So after the staff have followed that one, I went down to the children's, whereby I just went somewhere where they normally, in Nairobi, there are somewhere where they cook bones for soup. So I picked a big bone, I tied with a rope, and I went with it at school. That one was used as a disc. Whoever speaks Kiswahili will wear that bone the whole of the day, and it was smelling. So nobody wanted to have that thing from morning to evening. They started by speaking broken English, and it was very tough because most of the children could not communicate. They decided to just keep quiet. When you talk to somebody, signs. No talking, because he's not able to speak English. He don't want to speak Swahili. So unamuuliza swali, atatingiza kichwa, and that one has communicated. So I used that one until today. When you come to my school, all of them, they speak fluent English. It's just that there is a boy around called Joshua. That one can be used as evidence. You just find that boy somewhere. Talk to him in English. He's just in playgroup, but he can speak fluent English. And that one I see as an achievement to my school. So that one brings in a question that Madam Bute asked when we were in the last panel, whereby as our parents, how are you going to be convinced that that school is no longer offering, we are not doing with things to do with orphanage? Language policy has helped me in enrolling the number of children, because you know that we are living in plots. So when a child from Lucia Global School goes home in the evening, and the neighbor sees him or her speaking to other children in English, because I told them, and even I called the meeting for parents, I should not see any parents speaking Kiswahili to my children. So they are supposed to speak it even when at home. So when a neighbor sees the child speaking English, atamuita amuulize, which school are you going? Atamwambia, I'm at Lucia Global School. That parent will be touched. Then the following day, you'll see that he or she will come to the office and ask me, watoto wa fulani wanasoma hapa. How am I going to enroll my child in this school? I can see they are speaking fluent English compared to other schools, whereby they are pretending to offer quality education, which is not there. You can find other private school, a child cannot even speak a word in English. So we have reached a point whereby we are not now seen as an orphanage, but we are as a school. That one encourages them and they are bringing in their children.
Okay, that's, you have become agent of change, isn't it? Because you have, and from orphanage to real school, normal school, that is good. Now, Mr. Jinga, I know you have a lot of names. You are having a lot of responsibility in the foundation. Now it's you talked about the English language policy from Furaha. Now, I don't know, your role in the implementation of that one. Which role do you play in the implementation of the language policy in these schools?
I think before I talk about the role, I have to talk about the reason as to why I'm pushing that one.
Thank you. That's good.
Number one, it's about a marketing strategy of our schools.
That's good. Marketing strategy.
That's a marketing strategy of our school.
That's very good.
Before we do the branding that it is outside, someone can be able to identify a child of our school, wherever they are. And with that one, it's something that can make us, because we have a goal and we have the outlook. And our goal is to have a school that will just operate like an international school, like a Riara school that we are talking about. No one wants to identify him or herself with something that is failing tomorrow. Now, if we talk about language policy, and I being the first one, I have been addressing this one, especially to our schools here in the village, because I know we are operating in the village. Number one, with the language policy in our school, and when we emphasize on English in our school, it brings discipline even to the kids. Because the kids in rural area wanajua kutusiana umbwa hii na inakuwa easy all over. But now, because there is this language policy, watoto wanaanza kujidiscipline. This part of the things that I am really working on, and whenever I am with our school admins, I'm talking about language policy. When I am with a child, I have to talk to that child about speaking English. It does not matter which kind of English that child will be speaking. A child, when he's playing and just say, go, go, come, that's a practice of that child on how that child can come up and now he or she can be able to speak English. I am the champion of that one. I have been addressing that one to each and every time that I'm visiting in all our centers to make sure that the language policy is being implemented in our schools. Number two, we are not against Kiswahili, and that's why we have 1 day of Kiswahili, because we have Kiswahili is part of the subjects that are in the syllabus. We are talking about language policy because hakuna mtoto yoyote Muluya akizaliwa leo anajua Kiswahili hata kabla ajue the mother tongue. Now, if they know Kiswahili and they are used in Kiswahili, and all of us in school we are speaking mother tongue and Kiswahili, are we in a position to transform this child? It becomes a challenge whereby a child in a private school, because in our setup it is a private school. Now, a child in a private school, when you compare a child in a private school and a child in the government school, you find someone is just reaching in class 8, and that person cannot even construct a sentence. We are talking about change. Change cannot come when we don't emphasize on small things that can make change, even the interaction. These children, after he or she has left our school, village to global school, and he cannot communicate for him or herself, there'll be no change that we will be talking about. And that's why I am really emphasizing on language policy. Part of our culture. People will just identify us. Those children, yesterday, during when the speakers were speaking, I heard a teacher talking that one has really changed the name of the school. The school that was being called Shule ya Kuhamahama, now people are again talking about Shule ya Watoto Kuongea Kizungu. Now that one is changing the perspective of people when we are working in the community. And I really emphasize to all of us as when we are talking about the common goal and the common outlook of village to global schools, it is about a collaboration of small things that will build up the bigger goal that we are having of 100 schools.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Mr. Ernest. You have to compare yourself with Yara, Branch, McKinney schools. There's this common saying that a school looks like the head teacher. A school looks like the head teacher. Does your school look like you? Ruth, does your school look like you? So if you are a Shabalas Bangala, a head teacher, the school will look like that. If the school is full of alcoholic, drug addict, does it look like reflect on you? Can you explain? Can you tell us how your school looks like? Does it look like you?
That is an assessment that can be done from somebody from outside, but it can give you an evaluation of yourself also according to the feedback that you also get. Those voices that we were talking about, the positive and the negative, they really help you to evaluate yourself and to evaluate what you're doing and the school at large. There are some things that out of the voices, out of jealousy, out of killing, out of what you are doing, are you doing the right thing or not? So with my school, apart from the common challenges that are facing every school out there, every institution out there, I don't have a special thing that I can say that this one is really a thing that maybe I'm the reason for this thing to take place. And I think to some extent it can work because I can look at the neighboring schools and how it is. If a head teacher is not at school, even teachers will not be there, and the children now.
Let me just give you a practical example. There's a time I graduated from the Teachers College. So the my principal was somebody by the name of Ole. And when Waweku came in, the school was very neat. The school was excellent. Then when I went to pick my certificate, I told her, this college looks like you. This college looks like you. So those are some of the changes that you have made in the school that makes you feel that I've reached where I wanted. Those are the things that I want.
So yeah, it's true what you are talking about. The school can look like you,
okay,
with the support of your team, parents, and the whole stakeholders.
Yes. So it can look like you.
It can.
Jennifer, can you elaborate on that? Does the Ivtgf look like you?
Okay, thank you. I can say yes or no, but let me use this example. You have a teaching staff, you have a class teachers. We usually say that if you are a class teacher and you are a male teacher who is not tucking in, your boys in that class will not tuck in. Why? Because you are not a role model.
Thank you.
But if you are a male teacher who is tucking in, all your boys will tuck in, and you will be identified with that class. That look at teacher Flanagan, his class, And if you are a madam teacher and you feel like, I'm just okay the way I am, you can just come, your hair is just the way it is, and even your dressing code. Remember, we are the role model to this school, to the learners. How I look, the outlook, will tell somebody outside there that where madam is coming from, at least they are somehow organized. And that's how the school can look.
You have anything to add on that? Does Lucia look like you?
I agree with you that our school looks like a head teacher or an admin. Because when a visitor comes, I'm the first person he's going to meet. And when he gets me, I'm confused, I don't know what I'm doing, definitely he'll judge. He'll just say, this school is confused. So we are the ones who carry the picture of the school. If I like gossip, that means my staff will be coming, we sit there, we gossip. What will happen to the children? They'll also be gathering in small groups and they start gossip. So that school will be full of gossip. So we are the ones who reflects the picture of the school. For example, when you talk of time, I say by 6:30, all the teachers should be in school. But with my handbag at 9 a.m., I'm coming to school. Do you think the next day the staff, my fellow staff will be 30? They will not. They say we talk, but she's the one who breaks, she's the first one who breaks the rules. What will happen to the children? They will start coming in even at 11 a.m. Because when parents come, I'm the first one they're supposed to get in school. But when they come and they get no one is there, watasema hii shule ni watu ya kukuja late. So nobody will want to associate with people who are not organized. Yes.
Thank you very much, madam.
Yes,
You had not got the question, but that's why I'm coming back. No, we are short of time, but just 1 minute.
No, I'm not talking. Just want to clarify something there. That sometimes you can find that maybe the admin on the head is doing the correct thing. But maybe there was somebody who was after me. Before I came in, there was somebody before I came in who laid a different foundation, and it really went deep. And as we have been talking of change does not come on within a short span. So you can come in there organized, but the team that I'm working with has that thing of they want to drag you behind, or they want to let's see where she will reach, or how far can she go. You know that is sometimes you can find that you can judge that maybe they are men or how, but there is something so destroying the good thing that you're trying to build, and that is might be affecting sometimes. I'm trying, but there is not that support from the admin, the fellow people that I'm working with. My deputy has to be at par with me. My senior teacher has to be at par with me, has to agree with me. Because if we are having maybe like a briefing, as I say that language policies should be 100% from the non-teaching staff to the admin. I myself, you as the deputy are telling me, what do you mean by that? Have you ever seen us speaking in English? English came by what? By play. So that one will give you a disadvantage.
So those are the challenges you face. Now, just in 1 minute, Mr. Linda, you know you are the father of all these schools, and they should look like you. How much have you done to make sure that they look like you? Just in 1 minute, because we are short of time.
I think one thing and very fundamental is about discipline. You cannot discuss anything about school when there is no discipline. And discipline discipline cuts across. Discipline starts with the management, I, the admins, and teachers, downwards, even the children will be disciplined. Without that one, there is nothing that can take place. And that's why I always emphasize on discipline. If we talk about time, we are just talking about discipline. If we talk about professionality on how a teacher should be, we are just talking about discipline. If we talk about language, we are just talking about discipline. When we are talking about laziness, it is about discipline. If we talk about leadership, we are talking about discipline. Because there is no any leader who can lead and he or herself is not disciplined enough. So I emphasize on discipline. And it starts with individual. Because when we start ourselves disciplining ourselves, then it won't be a burden to the whole. And with that one, everything will just fall in place automatically.
Thank you.
If we see there is some small thing that you are seeing that is not a problem in discipline. I finish, or you are going to give me time to finish?
I'll give you 1 minute to finish, but now.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Now, you have talked about discipline, and finally, I'm very much impressed the way you have handled these questions, and you have really elaborated on what you are doing. My audience will agree with me. If all our admins will make their hairstyle like that, we shall have some outlook. Common outlook. You know, here we are handling. Here we are handling. You know, audience, we are talking about two things: common goal and common outlook. So let us come from this place and know these ones look like Ivtg members. Our style of work, let it be reflected outside. Even the villagers, when they see me going to Bukanga, they know this man is from Ivtg, the foundation, isn't it? So our walking style, our hairstyle, our dressing style. Decide one day you just purchase Vitenge from textile. And put on one day, we should start saying common outlook. The branding of the school, they're doing what? That one is very good. They've talked about the uniform, which is very good. Now, this is an opportunity for audience to ask a question, and then we will wind up. Questions? Yes, Shadrach.
Okay, thank you for me having this opportunity to just pose a question to the school admins. Maybe one can answer and we go on. So my question is, when I used to grow there was this issue of ya kusema kwamba ukiuliza mtoto unasikia unataka kuwa nani, unataka kuwa mwalimu. But nowadays it has changed. It went wrong. Now children don't anymore to become a teacher. What happened? Maybe you can explain for me. Okay.
People don't
Okay.
know. Just hold on. Another person. Tupate watatu hivi. Yes.
Maybe I just want to pose a question to Madam Bautista. Given that the school we are handling up in Soweto is a multicultural society, where you find a lot of children from different Kikuyu, Luo, Luya, all the tribes in Kenya. And unlike the other two, who are just having from one ethnic background. And then you have those ones when I can say all the reject of society. Actually, you find them in those slums. So how do you try to handle them, to bring them on board and at least try to ensure that they are speaking this one language?
Okay, that's the second question. The third question. Yes.
I think mine is about advice with our admins, because you are admin, yes, and you work with different teachers. They trained from different colleges, so you have a lot to do with them. Because I met one teacher and she said that English is also a problem. So I don't understand why English can be a problem to a teacher, and she's a trained teacher. So in fact, Madam Jennifer, I think you have a lot to do here. Because we are supposed to have quality education, and we are also supposed to receive watoto wenye wako sawa, quality students from out there, not only students who want to be, and also we are supposed to receive quality students from out there. But also our English can make us to receive those students here.
Or students.
So you have a lot to do with your teachers and your staff.
I think because she gave an advice, you give me a chance to ask a question.
Okay. Okay.
Yes, so that I fill the basket of questions. My question is really to the panel, and maybe one of them can answer. How do we balance that we don't start to use English as a measure of intelligence? Because we know children are talented differently. And actually, I was recently sharing with my team, and I realized, I told them how I think in mother tongue. Because up to class 3, I learned in mother tongue. So even in exams, what made me pass exam is I think in mother tongue and then I translate. So how do we then balance that aspect, that we are not looking at English as the only measure of intelligence, and empower our children to wholesomely grow? I understand the importance of English because all exams, and apart from Swahili, are examined in English. But how do we strike that balance?
Okay. The last one. Yes.
My question goes to our admins. Maybe in terms of discipline, you may find that you are disciplined enough here in school. But mtoto akirudi nyumbani, as a parent, as a parent, ninapika chana, namtuma labda sigara, maybe ule mtoto hayuko kwa environment mzuri. In which way are you going to help that child to make sure that maybe in school can improve in discipline, and also at home can also improve in discipline?
Okay, let's start with the the rejects that you have according to the framing of that. And then the person will ask a question.
Okay, thank you. At first, when I was giving out my remarks about about Lucia Global School, the language policy, at first it was a big challenge. I can say 80% they are foreigners from Congo. Then the rest are these tribes in Kenya. So making them to speak one language, it was a big challenge. At first, we started to introduce this Wakongo now from French to Kiswahili first. To change them now, know that in Kenya we can speak two languages, that is Kiswahili and English. So I started with the easiest one, which is Kiswahili. So slowly we trained them until they fall to the same line with the others. So all of them, they were speaking Kiswahili. Now from there, we come to changing now them from Kiswahili to English. We have Wajaluo, we have Kikuyus, we have Luyas. Those tribes, all of them, they are there. But for them now to speak one language, again to change them from those their mother tongue. But I thank God, those people normally, especially those who are born in Nairobi, most of them, they don't speak mother tongue. So it was a bit easy to change them from Kiswahili to English. That's when I came up with an introduction of this, and it helped in changing.
Yes. Now, Madam, who is ready to answer this professional? Our profession, the teaching profession, has lost markets. what makes us lose market? And formally, we are number 3, we are counters. Or we are the role model, we are next to God. And how comes that nowadays you are next to Satan? Can you explain
Okay.
why?
I just tried to my level best, but I don't know everything went wrong. You find that teaching as an occupation, the times of President Moi, you will receive a calling letter even before you sit for your PT. But it came a period that it went on a hold for almost 5 years. So people were exceeding from college for 5 years without having those letters. And I think that's where a pile came out. So for that pile out there, so for them to be accommodated to the system, they did not stop training. They continued training. So at first, people were like, after college, I have a calling letter. After PT, even graduation will find me when I'm already working. But now, because of that hold that was there sometime there, it has affected, and then they were enrolling more people in the system. Private colleges came up. They trained many people. You find that when you go to Bungoma, there are almost 5 teaching TTCs. All those TTCs are enrolling people. They are pushing them out to the market. They find more people out there. You find that somebody from 2010 up to now has not been employed. Somebody's out there for 15 years. If I have a son who is 7 years old, he look at me and he's like, when did you finish your training? 2013. Up to now, can now he aspire to go for it? He'll be like, if he's looking, unless if he has that passion and if he has that calling that I want to be a teacher, just to interact with pupils, how or to nurture these kids. But if he's looking for a job, he will not go for
So passion is the key. There is no passion. Many teachers do not have passion. It's just they are there for money and the occupation. So the older ones that were teaching Shadrach had a passion in teaching, and that's why they were moving like that. Okay, now let's come to
I think I can,
you got
I can have something
to add on.
to talk one question that Ivan has just.
Yes, I got the question coming from.
Okay.
Because there is a question here. What can you say about that advice, Jennifer? The advice that you are given?
Okay, the advice is good, and we are going to take note of it, and we are going to work with it.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
And now, you as the, now this one, before you answer that question, now there's this issue of cigarettes at home and whatever, and one of the common things that we had in common is outreach. Can this outreach address this issue of cigarettes at home? Anybody to answer that or Jennifer can answer?
Okay,
Cigarettes, the outreach, can it assist you?
so I think the whole question was about discipline
Yes.
from back home.
Mm.
Okay, during outreach, we reach to these parents. We inquire what they do to earn a living. And also, we discuss about how do they relate with their kids? How do they treat them? And if you are involving these learners in such drug abuse and such, at least we give you some advice. We counsel you. And also, back to school, we talk to these kids and the parents when we organize for a parent meeting in the school. We tell them the effects and the importance of
Thank you.
having these kids kept away from this drug abuse.
Thank you, madam. Now, unless you want to ask that question, but I don't want to preempt, can you attack it? The question from the CEO.
Okay, I think it's fine with how Zach is asked that question. And maybe in my answering, because I have been teaching in that means, and there are teachers who are trained, and what I have realized is that every child has a primary language when that child is coming at school. That primary language, there is levels that that primary language is assisting that learner. That when a child is coming to school, he knows a cap in that language across. Now, when he is coming to school, and because maybe in our two schools that are on the villages, when that child knows a cap, ni eskombe, then when he come to school or she come to school, pia nyumbani kula anajua mzuri eskombe, it is kikombe. Then it is the duty ya mwalimu kumtoa kwa hizo primary language na kumpeleka kwa language yenye watu wengine wote wanaweza ku understand, of which English, like what madam did to change French, because sasa yangeelewana aje na Kifrench, na hata yeye hajatrain kwa upande wa French. Now lazima angeconvert that child to a language inaweza kuanza kuelewana, so that this wanakata anaanza kufundisha huyu mtoto anajua kwamba all of them they are in the same path. So you find these are the challenges zenye walimu wanakumbana nazo. Lazima huyu mtoto afike mahali pa kuongea. And this one is even Furaha, because at Furaha there is a lot of Kiluya language that is going around. Now when you start now bringing it up, and now when they are playing and when teachers are teaching and they are talking about kuruka ni kujam, mtoto anajua kuruka kwa Kiluya, then it translates. We are talking about talents. We have seen so many people like the athletes who have done well, lakini wakifika kule nje kujiexpress, hata kuomba na kusema kwamba hizi vitu tunataka kwa sababu amewin gold medal, lakini sasa kuomba inakuwa ni ngumu mpaka anakuwa limited with words za kujiexpress. And that's why tunataka kwamba as much as we have that component of the talent centers in our setup, we want a child can be able to express him or herself even outside. Give it an example. A parent is just greeting a child by the road ya kwamba good morning, na huyo mtoto hawezi kujibu, it becomes a difficult. So in our setup, in our common goals and outlook of our schools, we would like and we are emphasizing on language policy that connect a child from the village to a child to the global. That's where we are looking for, and that's where we are emphasizing on that one. Immediately they have known, they'll just go home, even where they are coming from. That language is there. Ya kuwawezesha kujua what is happening there. And that's what we are emphasizing with our teachers. Because this learner has a primary language, we have to move them so that hata wakati anaulizwa swali kwa shule, that a child can be able to answer that one. That is the basis on how we are now pushing for the language policy.
So it can improve the quality of education.
Yes.
Okay, now, I think what Zacchaeus wanted, as much as he was talking about language, you know, language is culture. And the reason why Luyas are jumbled up, they don't have a common language. That's why we are suffering. Because have got a common language, because have got a common language. So we have got that problem. But now, the way the coordinator has answered it academically, which is very good, is that we are going global. We are coming from the village to global, that's good. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm told time is not on our side, but you can just say one thing, just give 5 seconds as you want to conclude.
Okay, thank you. As I finalize, Mr. Zaki wanted to know English as a measure of intelligence. We are not using it as a measure of intelligence. We are using it as a uniformity, using it as a marketing agenda, and then for display.
Okay, thank you.
Otherwise, thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you so much for listening to us and giving us those challenges. We are going to do what we have been doing in our schools. At least today I've learned that I'm the mod of measurement for my school. Invest with us and bring kids, trust us, we shall do good with them.
Thank you, madam. Ifa?
Thank you too. May God bless you.
Thank you, sir.
I also thank you for this privilege that you have given to us to talk to you. So if you are having a friend in Nairobi, call him or her to bring the kid at Lucia Global School. Thank you.
Thank you very much, our moderator, for today's session. I just have one thing that I have just talked, two things that I have just talked. We are talking about identity, which is part of our course, and we are talking about discipline. Let us not forget that one. Thank you very much.
Yeah, viewers, we have come to an end, and you'll agree with me. I had a very wonderful panel. Panel that had one man, one gentleman, and 3 ladies, but they have done very well. So, Ochieng, I think I've come to an end, and